Hey there, it's Mandy Brasser from Streamline for Success, and in this video, I want to share one of the biggest issues and opportunities that clients are coming to us right now about and what you can do about it. So let's get stuck into it. Thanks so much for joining. In this video, it's super important because we've been doing a bunch of app health assessments lately, and this is an issue that keeps coming up again and again for clients that are coming to us to understand how their usage and opportunities are going with their app and what they could do better. And I wanted to share this video about one of the fundamentals that I think every business needs to review to make sure that they're in a good place. So this is one thing that we do as part of our assessment, but I wanted to share this with you today. So one of the things that we look at is the health of your emails and who you've got on your list. And I think that's really important. We see it happen quite a lot that clients come to us that they're really excited, they've worked really hard to get a couple of thousand, 20,000, 40,000, whatever the number is on their database. And when they go to send broadcasts, they're really delighted they can send it out to all these people. The unfortunate thing is that actually there's a bunch of reasons why a heap of those people will never actually get one of your emails. And a lot of times businesses come to us and they aren't even aware of it. They think they're sending an email out to 25,000 people, but actually a whole bunch get skipped for a variety of different reasons. And all of a sudden, only half of those people actually will ever get the email sent to them. So I want to show you how you can go about understanding the health of the emails that you have on your list, and we're going to talk about some of the ideas about what you can do about them. And also I've got a little tool that I'm happy to share with you as well to put in some numbers as you go. That way you can get the most value out of watching this video. So firstly, what we want to have a look at is if we go to your dashboard, if you don't have this widget on there already, highly recommend that you add it on. But basically we can see here, this is the total number of contacts on your database. Now it's important to highlight this is everybody, whether you have their email address or not. And this is where the tool that if you want to check it out afterwards, you can definitely sign up for it below. This is where it comes really handy for us to use this to work out what the status is. So the first thing what I recommend that you do is you take stock of the day actually. What's the date that you're actually looking at this? And as you can see here, it's the 11th of April 2017. So overall, what's the number you've got on your database? So we've got 4. This is our test account, right? So we don't have a lot of contacts in there. But to make it more sort of meaningful, I'm going to change this to 4,000, just so you get a bigger sense of numbers here. Now that includes everybody, as I said. This is whether they have an email address or they don't. So what this allows us to do is run this particular report so we can get an understanding of, well, how many contacts do we have that actually have email addresses to start off with. So firstly, we want to go to the master navigation here. Under marketing, you want to select the option called reports. And if you scroll down here, there's an option here called email status search. That's the one you want to select. And you're probably going to default to potentially your last result or maybe all of the results. So just to make sure we're all looking at the same thing, is you can edit or create a new search really. Let's create a new one. And let's go ahead and search that. So you'll notice here there's an email status criteria that we can adjust, and we're going to go back and adjust that in just a moment. So let's go ahead and search that. So this is going to pull up everyone on your list who actually has an email address on the contact record. So you'll notice here that's still 4. That is consistent with our total database size, but I know that might not be consistent for all of you. So just keep that in mind. So this is where you want to go ahead and put in the second number here. And you'll notice that this grey box, when you download this tool, is where there's some formulas in. So you've got the ability, if you don't want to use these formulas, then you don't have to, but we've tried to make it really easy so you don't have to do the math. So you're just going to enter a couple of numbers in here. All right, so then you can see here, we want to identify who can we email to. So who have we got, firstly, permission to email, and they've actually got an email address in there, and they haven't opted out, or there's no bounce or anything like that. So who can we actually email through to? Now I actually might even change this soft bounce, because soft bounce typically we can still sort of send to, we might still attempt to send them, but it may not necessarily be a permanent action. So let's just include all of those people in the canned email. And then we've got can't email. So these are people that have basically said, no, I don't want you to email us. They're marked as non-marketable, they're locked down, hard bounce, opt out, etc., etc. So we want to have a look at, firstly, who are the group of people that we can email on our database. So let's go for a new search. And what we want to do is select all of those different email statuses that we've got listed here. So the default, or the common ones I should say, are these first four. And if you want to then select this soft bounce, you certainly can. Now I'm on a Mac and I'm selecting that first one, holding down Shift going to this one, and then I'm holding down Command to pick up that other one there. So don't know the PC instructions, sorry, but I'm sure it's going to be very similar to that. Alright, so I've got those 5 statuses here. I want to go ahead and search those options. Okay, great. You can see I've got 3 contacts that I can basically send an email through to. Now, because of the purpose of this exercise, I'm just timesing everything by 1,000. So we're going to go, that's 3,000 people I can email. Now, you may want to stop there. You may not want to get down to this detail of what is the individual percentages of each of those different statuses, particularly if you don't see that there's a big issue. Now, you can email to 75%. That might be good, that might be bad. You may not be happy about that. So you might want to get down to understanding the remaining group of people, what's the breakdown and what's going to be the highest. So that kind of, it's completely up to you how you want to analyze the information. But we know that for some of these assessments we've been doing lately, getting down to that next level allows us to really identify where the potential issue is. Now, so we're going to cover unengaged marketable. This is one that's coming up a lot for clients lately who've just started working with us, so we'll cover that in just a second. But I want to make sure, let's get this high level number identified for can't email. So what we can do here is create a new search, and we basically want to do the opposite to what we did before. So you can either select the ones that you want to include, which is basically all of these except soft bounce, or you can go doesn't contain and obviously select the ones that we had selected before. But I'm going to go with these ones: non-marketable, lockdown, hard bounce, blah 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 blah. All right, let's go ahead search. Okay, so there's one there. Okay, so this is an opt-out and admin. I just did that before, just so that I could show you an example there. So we're going to go, that's 1,000, so 25%. So that adds up, that should always add up to 100%. And we're only looking at this from a point of view of anyone with a valid email address. So we've got referring back to this particular number in terms of working out that percentage. Okay, so it's not the overall database, it's anyone who's got an email. So you could change that if you wanted. I mean, can't email, you could probably argue that yeah, you want to look at the entire database, but it's up to you, so how you want to do that. If we change it in this little template, we'll update these notes here, what makes sense. All right, so we've got those 2 numbers. Now, as I mentioned before, the unengaged marketable, this is something that we've actually just had a client reach out to us, and over 65% of their database are classified in this unengaged marketable. Now, if you're not familiar, we'll also put a link below this video on what unengaged marketable is. but essentially it is anyone who has not engaged in content in the last sort of 4 months. So that's whether they've opened an email, clicked an email, or completed a web form. Now, where this doesn't actually work is for businesses who are using Infusionsoft for mainly phone calls, SMSs, kind of tasks, those sorts of things. So those activities aren't classified as being engaged. So keep that in mind and use it accordingly to how you're actually using Infusionsoft. So just something to flag. All right, so let's have a look at that one in particular. And really, these same steps apply whether you are wanting to look at this status or another status down here. All right, so let's go new search. And I want to select unengaged marketable. Now, before I get the results, what I want to just flag here, columns can be really handy to bring across any information that you think might help tell a story of what's going on or provide you with necessary fields and information that you would need about that contact. So if you haven't got like time since last engaged, last sent date, last open date, those sorts of things, make sure you select them over from the right hand column here and bring them across. So I'm pretty happy with that, but just obviously go ahead and make sure that's up to date. And let's go search. Okay, so I can see there's 3 contacts here, which also aligns with the can email option above, but that's probably not going to be the case for you. So just kind of go through and have a look at all those numbers. Of course, if you're an Excel whiz, and what we've done for clients is we export the entire database, run some pivots, kind of do some charts and those sorts of things. So that's also possible. So don't think that this is the only way to do it, but this is definitely going to help if you're not that kind of savvy with Excel. So make sure you go through each of those and just to see and understand if there's any particular statuses that you should be investigating further. So unengaged marketable. We had a client recently that had a bunch that were in this hard bounce area. So, you know, they obviously can't send because a lot of those people had moved on from their jobs, their company emails weren't valid anymore, those sorts of things. So that could have been one of the reasons for all those hard bounces. So it's something to keep in mind, but really I want to kind of flag why this is so important. I mean, they say your money's in the list, right? So your money's in the list as long as you can actually communicate with those people. So getting a sense of how many you've got on your database, how many of your emails for, and how many can you email and you can't email, and then getting down to that next level will really allow you to understand what the current state of your database is. I would recommend that you download this tool, copy these columns, and then make sure you put in today's date, and then make a note and do this as a regular activity of reviewing and understanding what the status of your email addresses are, just so that you know that you are actually improving. And we've got some suggestions as well that we'll send out with this tool of ways you can go about making sure that you are cleaning up your database, how you can potentially look at re-engagement strategies, those sorts of things, so that you can get the most out of your list. Now, I know because we work every day with clients that a number of you are spending a bunch of money bringing in leads to your business, which is fine, as long as you can obviously get a return on those leads that you're getting. So making sure that they've got valid email addresses and you've got permission, you're doing the right thing and engaging with your list is really, really important. I cannot stress it enough. There's no point having a huge list of 25, 50,000, 100,000 people if you can't actually talk to them via email. All right, so that's pretty much it. Of course, if this is something that's really important to you to continue to track and not necessarily have to go to a spreadsheet every time, what I would recommend you do is set up a couple of save searches. So this might be the first one we do, is this is a group of people that we can email. So once you're happy with the criteria, go ahead and save and select who you want to see. Oh, can email. Oops, can email. And if we want to do the opposite, everyone who we can't email. I'm going to get rid of soft bounce. We'll leave that in for the other results. Okay, go search. And save. And of course you might want to call it something else, but this is pretty basic stuff. So whenever you come into this area again, you can come over here. You can also do some other searches about how long it's been since they've last engaged and all that sort of jazz. But the other place, not only is it good to make these searches available here, but you can go back to your dashboard, and if we add a new widget, and if we scroll down here to, I think it is custom statistics, sorry. And this is where we need to then go and select the option saved report, not save search. This is going to have a big think about it. Okay, go save report up here, and let's go can email, and let's go save and add another. And the next one, whoops, we need to make sure we select save report again and go can't email and go save. So you can see here we've got a bit of a breakdown, and we can rename that email status search, save. And that way you can kind of keep tabs on it. It's going to continue to update the most relevant information if someone's status does change. It's going to update and reflect these results here. If you've got some problem areas like an engaged marketable or hard bounces, you can create your own searches based on that criteria as well and follow those same steps and kind of monitor them here. So really I hope that's been helpful. As I said, it's something we are working with a number of clients as part of our app health assessments right now, and we think it's a really critical component for all businesses using any type of database to understand what their status is, so you can hopefully get a picture and you can obviously do something about it from there. Alright, well, it's Mandy from Streamline for Success. Thanks so much for checking out this video. Make sure you check out this download. It's a free download, you've got nothing to lose. Just it'll help you kind of put those numbers together, and we'll also share some tips to help you to make the process a lot easier with some ideas to do before as well as after as well. Alright, thanks.